One two one two. What is good, everyone? This is Oso. I'm here in Brooklyn for BroadwayJunction.net. I have a few questions for the creative mind behind Made in African. Let's get into it. First and foremost, who are you and what is it that you do?
What do I do? My name is Merchandise, like merchandise with a B. Uh, my real name is Birchild, but you're not gonna remember that. So I had to finesse something. But anywho, I've been designing and sewing for about 7 years. I'm a college dropout. Learned from YouTube and the books I paid so much for. And yeah, the name of the brand is Made in African because it bridges the gap between Africa and Brooklyn. So the aesthetic is hood formal.
Hmm. Hood formal.
Yeah, hood formal. I didn't come up with that. My homie Steven came up with that last year at Renew Lots. And it kind of stuck.
Interesting. That's dope. What is Made in African?
So Made in African is the conclusion of a whole lot of trial and error. So I've been through a lot of different brand names that didn't stick at all. Like Clark Kent, the black version of Clark Kent, Superman, like DLARK, like the dark version of Clark Kent. They ain't stick. Chevelle Dye Damsel was like a mix of Disney princesses and like domestic violence, and it was like that's a stupid name, Chevelle Dye Damsel. But it was like I figured that the brands with the weird names and names that no one could pronounce was the names that popped, like the Versace's, the I can't think of nothing else, but you know what I'm talking about. The other brands with the names.
Right.
And I had Burchella Egerton. You can't call your brand name by your name unless you're already popping. So it ain't nothing stick. But then I went to Africa for 4 days, got homesick, and was kind of like missed the sleep and came up with African. Just for me being homesick out in Africa. First time out in Africa, I was in Dakar, Senegal, and I just went out there for fabrics and ran into Fab Five Freddy. Was on the same plane with Akon. They shut first class down for Akon. It's like, what? And this was before we even took off from New York. I see Akon, so I'm like, nah, I'm in the right place. I'm in the right place, bro. We landed, see mad dashikis and thobes, and people in like kente gowns. I'm like, where the fuck am I? The fuck is going on? We get a driver and a translator to rock around everywhere we go. Like, what? And we only went here for fabric. Like, we went out there for fabric. Like, we weren't supposed to be as big as it got. So we go to different family factories. Like, they're sewing on big machines like this. Like, floors and floors of sewing machines. And to me, that's beautiful. So I'm like, what? Inspired as fuck. See, mad different fabrics. They're making the fabrics. They got the looms. These machines. They got families literally putting clothes together. Like son, father, uncle. I'm like, what's going on, bro? This is more than fabric. That same night, we went to the island where the Red Door is at, where they took all the slaves. And the Red Door is a door off a cliff, where they took the slaves from Senegal, and they called that the Red Door because it's literally a red door. And inside is a dungeon, and the dungeon's about this high. That's where they put the men at while they stole the wives. So that's crazy. So they got a room for the men, a room for the women when they're ready for them. They got a room for the kids. These rooms are about this half size, about this high. They put about 30 people in them. So on the way from this island, I forget the name of the island, Goree Island. Look it up, Goree Island. Goree. I'm on the boat, headed back to Dakar, and I hear this voice behind me. I'm like, yo, this voice sounds mad familiar. Who the fuck is that? I don't want to be in nobody's face. So I'm gonna wait on it. I'm gonna try to figure the voice out. I'm like, nah, I know that voice. I turn around, it's Fab Five Freddy, bro. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I look at my mom, I was like, yo, mom, it's Fab Five. She's like, who? Now that's disgraceful that my mom don't know who Fab Five is because that's her time for real. So I'm like, you're disrespectful. I'm gonna talk to the man. I turn around and talk to him. He got his 2 translators too and shit. I'm like, yo, Fab Five, what to do? Da 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 da. He's like, yeah, hit me up. Blah blah blah. Hit me up. Yeah, we gonna talk. Da da da. Y'all know what came next. Saying we ain't ran down the man Instagram, but you know he busy. He don't even post on Instagram. But just seeing him was inspirational as hell.
What a trip, yo.
Yo, that same night, somebody tried to steal my ripped jeans. Like, they tried to run down me, because ripped jeans is big in Africa, bro. Like, they want to trade everything. Like, they would be selling cars and iPhone cases and shit. We would trade you for your jeans. Dead ass. Like, ripped jeans is like fashion I bowed in Senegal. Like, ripped jeans. I have my ripped antiques, and I have them cut like this. Like, they look like shorts. So my mom was like, "Yo, you hungry? Let's go get something to eat." So we go down to the block. It's like 12 o'clock. That's a bad time to be outside, I guess. And niggas was jeans. I'm like, yeah, jeans, cool. All right. Keep walking down. It's like, jeans. Trade you for your jeans. Like touching me. I'm like as you just read, I don't know nobody like to be touched. So I'm like, yo,
crazy.
Back off, please. And the language barrier is crazy. So we keep walking. I'm like, Ma, can we please go back? Somebody else do it again. This time they all run around. Jeans. So I'm pushing people. My mother comes in, start swinging with her pocketbook. I'm like, nah, we're going home. I got my mama swinging her pocketbook.
So you guys left after that?
We left. We went back to the hotel. That's my Africa trip. And after that, that's how MadeInAfrooklyn was inspired, from the madness and the beautiful shit from the time I got on the plane. It was just a different experience. I was like, nah, this is a whole bunch of signs.
So this trip, going to Africa and then coming back to Brooklyn, I feel like that's what started your tagline, bridging the gap between Brooklyn and Africa.
Facts. It was literally step by step.
Can you explain, the meaning behind it in your words?
There's like a big rumor. I don't know how much of a rumor it is that Africans don't like African Americans. It's all about us being displaced. You know what I mean? Because really, where's Africa? America. You know what I mean? So we're like the fucking stepchildren of melanin. You know what I mean? So, but that wasn't the case when I got out there. It was like straight love. And there's no way to know if that was staged or not, but I felt it regardless. So bridging the gap between Africa and Brooklyn is kind of like flipping that whole concept that Africans and African Americans, because we're all Africans, really don't fucking matter. It's displacing that whole concept that Africans don't like African Americans or Africans don't like blacks of America. You know what I mean? And also mixing the two aesthetics, because out there, their formal is completely different than American formal. It's kind of urbanish. Like they're wearing the slim down but still baggy pants with the long thobes. Where y'all think long tees came from? These hockey jerseys, they're thobes, they're dashikis. Hockey jersey ain't nothing but a dashiki. Where do you think that came from? So this whole hood formal is really just a definition on where African aesthetic and where African aesthetic comes from. And that's where I get bridging the gap between Brooklyn and Africa, or bridging the gap between Africa and Brooklyn, African.
Cool. So where are you from and what was it like growing up?
I'm from East Flatbush. Shout out to the 40s and the 30s and the 50s. And my family's from Trinidad. Yeah, so it's like it was a urban Caribbean upbringing. Like I had Caribbean parents, but due to the urban circumstances, it was a different bringing up than it would have been if I would grow up on the islands. But I also spent some time in Trinidad, Laventille to be exact.
Being a creative, a designer of apparel in New York City,
right?
What are some difficulties or some obstacles that you wish to overcome?
Some obstacles that to overcome. Well, that question in itself, the difficulties as a designer in NYC is like, that's it. There's a bunch of designers in NYC. Like, that's where people come to design. Like, it's like going to use the bathroom when you have to use the bathroom. Like, when you got to design, you go to NYC. I don't get it. Unfortunately, though, it makes it a clusterfuck to be a designer in NYC, because you gotta weasel through the bullshit to find designers that you actually like, especially with Instagram and Facebook. Although a blessing, ain't nobody gonna spend their Instagram time on you. ain't gonna, you know what I mean? It's like it's hard to get that. It's hard to get somebody's actual attention. Being a designer in NYC. If I was a designer in Virginia, who's to say that that would be easier? But from my standpoint, I feel like that's the only difficulty. It's like walking through 42nd Street. It's crowded.
Mm. Um, um, what do you dislike about the apparel world, and what do you wish to see more of?
Um, I don't dislike anything per se. Uh, like I could say that I wish that things went smoother for my brand than it was what it's going. But that would be a very impatient response.
Mm.
Um, what was the other part? Like
What do you wish to see more of?
what I wish to see more of. That I wish there were more manufacturers in New York. Which is crazy because most of the factories they started in New York, Fashion District around 37th through 39th Street and 7th and 8th on the west side. That was all factories, and now we got to send all our projects to China or Thailand. Also, why we went out to Africa to find factories, because the same access that you have to get something made in China from New York is easy. But if you want to get something made in Africa, you can't do that shit. Not from where you at. You gotta have a direct tie to get something made in Africa. And we went out there for fabric and factories to get a direct tie. And it's like they make it that way. And they bash you for getting stuff made in China and all these different places. But where are we supposed to get that shit made at? You know what I mean? Where you gonna get your custom T-shirts made if you wanted a certain cut? Probably China. Unless you know somebody in Africa, and even still. But I would like to see manufacturers in New York or in the U.S. because it's hard as hell. Yeah.
Interesting. What are 3 essential things that you need to complete your works?
A sewing machine, scissors, and fabric.
Hmm.
Like I don't need no patterns. Just need to cut a few shapes. And yeah. Sew that bitch up.
Dope.
Yeah, that's it.
Where do you see the future of Made in Africa?
That's a hard question.
And like, how do you see it?
Where do I see and how do I see the future of MadeInAfrooklyn? That question always stumps me. I don't know why. Only because expectations are very blurry for me. Like this wasn't the brand I expected to pop like this. You know what I mean? I had a collection under the Burchell Egerton brand. I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. Like I was meeting like a whole bunch of different people. People was reaching out to me to get stuff custom made and shit. It's like, oh, this is it. This is it. And shit just dropped. And this came up, and it's like every opportunity that came up to me or that I've come across is like I ain't expected. So I kind of want to go through this blind. I don't want to see no future for it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna handle all these opportunities to the best of my abilities, and that's really all I see for it.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing. Stressings and blessings. That's it. Blessings and fuckery.
Word up.
Mm-hmm.
So you've done a couple fashion shows.
Right.
You do the photo shoots. What do you enjoy doing most?
I would have to say when I could personally drop off an order, that's my favorite. Or seeing somebody's face when they get like a piece. That's my favorite. Because between you and I, sewing ain't all that fun after you done sewn the same thing about 10 times. It's seeing the person's face when they wear it. Like, that's the most inspirational thing. You know what I mean? That's really it. That's my favorite part. Photo shoots are cool. Fashion shows are cool. Did a fashion show yesterday. That was dope to see everybody's face when they found out what they was wearing. But it's still like somebody wearing something that they know is theirs and it was made for them. So like UPS and Santa mixed up. Yeah.
Word up. If you had to choose a superpower, what would that be?
Don't need sleep.
What would you call that superpower?
I don't know. I would call that shit.
Don't need sleep.
Don't need sleep. I like that.
Yeah.
You got to read to it. Either that or, I don't know if this is considered a power. Give me 27 hours a day. That 24 hours a day is some bullshit. Can I have the power of 3 more hours? I just want the power of 3 more hours. That's what I want. Yo, you know what I could do with 3 more hours? The power of 3 more hours?
Word.
The power of 3 more hours is what I want. The power of 3 more hours is my power. There it is.
Word up.
Yeah.
Where can clientele contact you? You know, give them the Instagram.
Instagram is MadeInAfrooklyn. Yeah, that's it. MadeInAfrooklyn. African is AFROOKLYN. Like Africa, Brooklyn. Then you got the personal account, which is merchandise. Now, we're going to go back to that. Merchandise is merchandise with a B. Told you the reasoning behind that. And then you got the email, which is merchandise@gmail or MadeInAfrooklyn@gmail. Depending on what you want to talk about. Right.
Word up.
Shout out BroadwayJunction.net because they hold it down. And they in the hood, goddamn. I ain't gonna tell you where I'm at, but I'm where they at. Right.
Word up. The creative mind behind MadeInAfrooklyn. Be on the lookout for his pieces, his creative designs. He's a dope dude. Check him out. This concludes our episode of Everyday Artists. One love.